Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League Season 5, Round 4, here at the Bend for the first time in Australia. Qualifying just about to begin. We got 12 minutes on the clock instead of 10 minutes because this is a rather large track. It's also brand new to iRacing, so there isn't a track map. Unfortunate, but is what it is. As we wait for the first cars to get onto pit road, let's take a look at who is in this group. Shane Van Gisbergen, coming off a disappointing race at Motegi. Connor Zilic, Louis Foster, Justin Allgaier, Robbie Lohr, Chet Jordan, Marcus Armstrong, your Motegi winner. Ryan Preece, Stingray Robb, Guy Gagne, Lawless Allen, Dawa Tenzin, Nico Hulkenberg, and Globler Lohr. Those are the 14 that will take part in this first group. As there's Globler out on track right now. Second longest track that we've ever gone to. Le Mans still holds the record for the longest, but this one is just under 5 miles and 35 turns. Through this S section, going to be very difficult. You have to be really precise. Globler Lohr, first one to be on a lap right now. And just look at how much. There's very little brake markers to really indicate what turn they're on. So without the track map, it's kind of guessing. Take a look at the weather really quickly. Session takes place April 11th, 5 p.m. 73 degrees, track temp of 76. So far, Globler's pink first sector has already been taken away, so someone is currently going faster. See a little bit of his driver inputs. So a lot of quick gear changes, just with how many turns there are. there's not a lot of long straightaways. Got Ryan Preece, who has Marcus Armstrong not far behind, so he may be getting a little bit of a draft, and that is going to send Globler off. And that's going to be that lap invalidated. That's going to be quite tough because you have such a long lap to get back going. And I believe that was in one of the final few turns. Armstrong going very quick right now. This is the turn Globler just spun out in. Ryan Preece has had a rough start to the season. Hasn't finished better than 14th. First lap is in. It's 8 tenths behind Armstrong's. So here comes Hulkenberg and Robbie Lohr, third and fourth. Shane Van Gisbergen will go to the top with a 2:09.5, so a little over 2-minute lap time here. This is a big group stuck behind this 94. This could be hurting a lot of these guys' lap times. And no one having clean runs at the moment. Yeah, and they're 8 seconds behind. Allgaier's going to go to 4th because he caught him kind of near the end. Gagne 5th. Lawless Allen in 6th. Here comes Louis Foster, as he's going to go to 3rd. Globler now trying again, but this lap looking slower so far. The only one without a lap set. Dawa Tenzin has gone off track. So that may allow the group that was stuck behind him to go through. Right now, time to beat 2:11.9, set by Guy Gagné. Globler gonna go only 13th. He is well behind on pace. That's quite disappointing, as these cars are already coming in, so they may try to go out for one more shot, but I mean, 2nd and 4th, that's pretty safe. Here comes Robbie Lohr. He's gonna cross the line, not gonna go better. He's gonna stay in 8th. Nico Hulkenberg, currently in 9th. He's not gonna go better. Chet Jordan, he's going faster. I mean, when the bar's kind of low. Right now, he and Zilich are below the cut line. They have to pit this time. That's gonna be it. As Stingray Rob spins off in the background. As Chet Jordan will pull into pit road, and that's probably gonna eliminate him. Connor Zilich gonna go 7th, but he is still below the cut line. Lawless Allen in 8th. Stingray Rob spun off, so this lap will not be better. Dawa Tenzin also went off. So Louis Foster's going to come in. I think you have to leave pit lane right now to have a shot, and Chet Jordan is in pit lane. So it looks like he will probably not advance to the next round, and he's going to start deep in the field. Globler Lohr not going faster. as Glubler will come in. I believe his brother Robbie will also come in. He's currently below the cut line. He is in Nico Hulkenberg, currently down in 10th. He's going to come in, so will Connor Zilic this time. But just a lot of time wasted sitting on pit road, then getting stuck in traffic. How do you get stuck in traffic in a 5-mile circuit? It's quite the error. Connor Zilic going faster, but he's probably coming in this time. As yes, he will, so he will be eliminated in round 1. Currently will be starting from 13th. Lawless Allen will come in. He's below the cut line. Stingray Rob, he's going to come in. Then Dawa Tenzin will come in, and this is going to be a checkered flag. Nobody is on a lap. The Shane Van Gisbergen gonna lead. So advancing into round 2 will be Shane Van Gisbergen, Marcus Armstrong, Louis Foster, Ryan Preece, Justin Allgaier, and Guy Gagne will be the 6 that advance out of this group. Couple surprises in the eliminated, but this was a pretty stacked group. So missing out in 13th will be Connor Zilic, 15th will be Lawless Allen, 17th will be Robbie Lohr, his worst qualifying of the season so far, 19th for Nico Hulkenberg, 21st for Dawa Tenzin, 23rd for Chet Jordan, 25th for Glubler Lohr, and then rounding out the field will be Stingray Rob. That's who makes it out of the first round and who doesn't. We'll be back in just a moment for round 1, Group B.
Yeah, what's interesting is the knowledge from racing translates really well into yeah, you feel like when something starts, it goes on, you get fluid, and you really feel confident. So
And as is tradition this season, the
yeah,
The overlay brakes. How lovely. David Malukas, first car out on track. Let's go on board. Let's see who's in this group. We got Nolan Siegel, Benjamin Peterson, Miles Rowe, Dorian Pinn, Lindsey Brewer, Francesco Tricconi, Tinkle McStinkle, Mahavira Gunathan, Devlin DiFrancesco, Ethan Martz, Alessio Deletta, Brendan Hubbard, and David Malukas. So all four Banshees of Little Miami cars in this group. So let's ride around with David Malukas. That's ain't David Malukas. Whoa, big slide. Nearly got trapped behind his own teammate, but luckily he's going to have some clear track to work with. Looked a little unstable when we went on board with him, a lot of slides. Just needs to keep it clean for 4.83 miles. But when you're pushing this hard, mistakes are bound to happen. Whoa, big twitch. He's in the final part of the track, so he's got to make sure that he brings it home clean. 2 turns to go. This one's been a big error spot, but he's going to get it right. It's been a rough start to the season, 26th in points. Needs a good run right here. And 2:14.4, that's not too bad. Gonna have to see if it's good enough though. Here comes Ethan Martz around the final turn. and he's going to be second, so a little bit slower. Let's see what Alessio Deletta has. It's also been a rough start to the season for him. Hasn't finished better than 15th, I believe. The 19th in points, as that must have been his outlap or his lap didn't count. Mahavir Raghunathan will begin his first lap. Raghunathan's had a pretty quiet start to the season, but it's been pretty good. 13th in points, beating his teammate pretty solidly, as points leader Dorian Pin will go to the top. As we have another stack up once again. And how do you do this on a 5-mile circuit? Miles Rowe, Lindsey Brewer, and then Brendan Hubbard, Nolan Siegel, as Benjamin Peterson will go to second. He needs a good run. So now the cutoff is Lindsey Brewer's 2:19.3. Dinkle McStinkle only 17 points, 27th in the championship. He is very slow around these turns. Might be a pretty painful lap time. Right now his teammate Miles Rowe sits in 5th above the cut line, but only 6 cars have set laps. Gonna have to see what this 53 can do, as that is a pretty slow lap time. Here comes David Malukas for a second lap, and it's not better. The tires are really only good for 1 lap. Francesco Draconi now come around the final turn. I believe he is just starting a lap, as Devlin DiFrancesco will go to 5th, and that's going to knock out Lindsey Brewer, as Miles Rowe's now on the cut line. Ethan Martz currently sits in 4th, as he is going to go off. And that is going to disallow that lap. Alessio Deletta, first lap. Lean through the final turn. Big slide. Ethan March may have put down a little bit of dirt and debris, but Deletta's going to put it third. That's going to knock out Miles Rowe. Devlin DiFrancesco now on the cut line, as Mahavir Raghunathan will go in 5th. Dorian Pin on top. Going to go a bit better, actually. The Brewer and Nolan Siegel now, as Nolan Siegel's actually going to come into the pits. And he doesn't have a lap. Brewer goes 6th, Hubbard will go better. Peterson does not go better, but Siegel comes in with not much time left on the clock. He might be in some big trouble. Miles Rowe's lap does not count. This is quite a chaotic qualifying session. Tinkle McStinkle well down on speed. He's going to need to find over 6 seconds if he wants to advance. That lap doesn't even count. He must have went off. Francesco Draconi now. Maybe the best person to try to bump someone, but he's going to have to bump his teammate Lindsey Brewer if he wants to advance. And he will bump her out. Here comes DiFrancesco across the line. It's not good enough. So Raghunathan currently in by about a 10th. As Malukas will come into the pits. Here comes Alessio Deletta. Not as good on that lap. Ethan Martz currently down in 8th. Below the cut. And now he'd be lined up with his teammate Lawless Allen on the grid, but he's going to come into the pits. As Mahavir Raghunathan not going to go better. Lindsey Brewer below the cutoff. Does she have one more lap in her? No, she does not. Brendan Hubbard will come in as well, and he is below the cutoff. So this is looking to be a very disappointing qualifying for Viking Racing, with only one car advanced. Miles Rowe going to come into the pits. He's down in 11th. Nolan Siegel, can he make it to the line in time? 15 seconds. Oh, it's going to be so close. As I do not think he got there. Yes, he does take the checkered flag, and that is it. The Nolan Siegel will not advance and will start at the very back of the grid. No time for him. Stinkle's going to come in. Coney comes in. DeFrancesco will come in this time, I assume. Mahavir Raghunathan, first time since Detroit last season, where he advances to round two. First time Team Canada Dry has advanced to round two this season. So that is your results from this round. So advancing, Dorian Pinn will advance. That's your points leader. Benjamin Peterson, Alessio Deletta, David Malukas will advance to round two for the first time this season. Second in points, Francesco Draconi gonna advance. Then the final car advancing will be the 54 Mahavir Raghunathan. So eliminated, gonna be starting from 14th, the one Banshees car that didn't advance, Lindsey Brewer. 16th will be the 76 of Ethan Martz. 18th will be the 75 of Devlin DeFrancesco. 20th, another disappointing qualifying effort for Brendan Hubbard. 22nd for Miles Rowe. 24th for Tinkle McStinkle, and then Nolan Siegel does not set a time and will start the race from 26th. So that is round one, Group B. We'll be back in just a moment for round two. Welcome back for round two. Here are the 12 that advanced. Shane Van Gisbergen, Louis Foster, Justin Allgaier, Benjamin Peterson, Marcus Armstrong, Dorian Pinn, Francesco Draconi, Mahavir Raghunathan, Ryan Preece, Alessio Deletta, Guy Gagne, and David Malukas. So the only team that stayed in one piece were the Swindlers. All four cars advanced pretty handedly. Gonna have to see what they could do. Gonna ride on board with whoever leaves the pits first. Again, 12 minutes on the clock. It is Guy Gagne who's gonna go out first. The only Viking racing car to survive. That's another lap of the bend as Guy Gagne will begin his first lap clean traffic. Seems only Marcus Armstrong needs to leave the pits. There is a car up the road from Gagne, who is this, Dorian Pinn. Not too far ahead, but not super close. 43 just up the road. Might get a little bit of dirty air from her. We're gonna have to see if Guy Gagne will be okay. At a rough time at Motegi, qualified 4th, but dropped all the way back to 21st on pace. That's just something that you don't want to see happen. So the 43 probably won't be much of a problem, but might give a little bit of a slipstream. This could work out perfectly for the number 90 of Guy Gagné. Through the final turn, and onto the front stretch. First lap will be a 2:12.4, not too bad. Justin Allgaier is on an out lap. Is Deletta on an out lap? 2:14.1. Armstrong on an out lap. I think I know now. After 5 seasons of this, I think I would have probably had it figured out by now, but eh, eh. Francesco Draconi not as quick, 2:17.8. Louis Foster, third in the championship. Disappointing result at Motegi, but did have some speed. Gained about 6 positions in about 3 laps. But unfortunately was trapped a lap down, so wasn't as good as they hoped it to be. Through the final few turns. And 2:11.8, that is going to go to P1. As here comes David Malukas, looking at his best qualifying effort of the season. If he can nail this 2:16.8, that's not super quick, gonna go to P5 right now. Benjamin Peterson gonna go third, and now we have a cutoff. Francesco Draconi 2:17.8 as Ryan Preece and Shane Van Gisbergen are connected. So Van Gisbergen better hope that Ryan Preece is quick here. Van Gisbergen going to go to the top anyways, as Ryan Preece's lap did not count. So Van Gisbergen being held up by a slow car and still making it work. Here comes Dorian Pin, 2:12.4, going to go to third. Guy Gagné currently in fourth. He'll stay in fourth. Justin Allgaier going to go to first by a second. That is a huge statement, as here comes Marcus Armstrong. Teammate Chet Jordan eliminated in round one. He has 2 out of 3 poles on the season. What will this lap be? It's only good enough for fourth. Right now, Guy Gagné on the cut line with a 2:12.4. Alessio Deletta below the cut, currently in eighth. Could be his best qualifying effort of the season. That lap did not count for whatever reason, as here comes Draconi, and it's not quicker. 3 minutes on the clock. All but 2 cars have set a lap. I don't know where the 54 is. Oh, he appears to have crashed at some point. So Mahavir Raghunathan will not advance to the Fast 6, and he will start from 12th. Actually, could start from 11th if Ryan Preece does not set a lap, because then it goes to entry points, and Mahavir Raghunathan is higher than Ryan Preece, surprisingly. As Louis Foster is going to come in, not much point in pushing any further. David Malukas down in 9th. He's going to need to find nearly 4 seconds of pace. That's going to be quite difficult to try to come up with. It's better, but not going to advance him any higher. Benjamin Peterson currently in 7th, just below the cutoff. Only needs a little bit. That lap will not count. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen into pit lane. Ryan Preece, he's going to come into pit lane, and there is not enough time, so he will start from 12th. No time. Dorian Pin going to stay out. Not going to go faster, so going to have to hope and no one bumps her out. But it looks pretty safe right now. I don't know who's below the cutoff, who's still out there. or at least has enough juice for another lap. Justin Allgaier currently in first. If he could get pole, that would be huge for him. He's going to pull into the pits here. Alessio Deletta down in 8th, but I don't think he has another lap in him. So Deletta and Draconi in pit lane. David Malukas down in 9th. This will be his best qualifying effort of the season, regardless if he advances or not. Cars coming through. Last lap. Benjamin Peterson not going to be able to get to the line to get another lap in. He's going to start from 7th, unless someone knocks him out. I believe Louis Foster's the only car actually out on the track. That will be it from round 2. All 4 Swindlers cars in the Fast 6. That is quite impressive. It's going to be led by the rookie Justin Allgaier, with Shane Van Gisbergen and Louis Foster right behind. Armstrong going to be right in the middle of the Swindler party, with Dorian Pin in 5th, and then Guy Gagne will just barely sneak in through the Fast 6. So eliminated, going to be starting from 7th, will be the 29 of Benjamin Peterson, his best qualifying effort of the season. Same for Alessio Deletta in 8th. Same for David Malukas in 9th. And same for Francesco Draconi in 10th. Then Mahavir Raghunathan will actually have his best qualifying effort of the season in 11th as well. Then Ryan Priest going to be starting down in 12th. That is round 2. We'll be back in just a moment for the Fast 6. Second Fast Six of the season. This will be made up of Shane Van Gisbergen, Louis Foster, Justin Allgaier, Marcus Armstrong, Dorian Pin, and Guy Gagne. All four Swindlers cars made it. That's pretty remarkable. Only one car from Group B actually advanced. That's Dorian Pin, so the groups were pretty lopsided this time. The 10 minutes instead of the usual 8. Guy Gagne is going to come out at the same time as Justin Allgaier, and that's already going to be interesting. Oh, side by side, this is quite interesting, especially as you only get about one lap. That's going to hurt both of their laps. As Justin Allgaier are going to spin out. So his lap already in the gutter. And then Guy Gagne's got hurt. Louis Foster might close in. He better hope he doesn't, or else this could be a disaster for Swindlers if they somehow lose the pole when they have a two-thirds shot at it. But their rookie driver already goes around. So through the final few turns, we're going to have to see what Guy Gagne has His team did not qualify very well. 13th, 20th, and 26th, as he's going to overshoot that turn. He's going to stay on the circuit, so his lap should probably count. As here he comes to the line, 2:17.9. That's not going to get it done. Louis Foster, 2:17.0. That's actually not much better. Justin Allgaier, lap won't count. He's going to have to hope that he has another lap in there. Shane Van Gisbergen got the pole at the Motegi Road Course. Could he get a second pole on the season today to try to combat his poor result on the Motegi Oval last time out? Through the final turn. Let's see what he has. 2:09.0. That is by far pole, and these two are on top of each other and probably only hurting each other. Marcus Armstrong got to be a little frustrated right here. Gonna go to the inside as Dorian Pinn gonna be fifth. Armstrong gonna be second. He's gonna try a pass into turn one. He's gonna get it done. But does anyone have more laps in him? But a lot of these guys are pretty far off the pace. Right now, Van Gisbergen has a 3-second pole, which would be the biggest pole margin ever. Louis Foster really closing in on this number 90. As we go through the final few turns, see where they will stack up. Oh, that was a big turn for Louis Foster. Gained a lot of time on the number 90. As both will stay out. 2:17.7, barely an improvement. Foster will improve, but he's still down in third by a big margin. Shane Van Gisbergen still on pole. Here he comes onto the front stretch. He will actually come into the pits. He thinks he's safe. As Marcus Armstrong has fallen behind, he must have went off track. The second seems to be the roof for him unless he can muster one more lap. As Dorian Pinn goes very wide in the second to last turn. To the line, Dorian Pinn will go better. It's only going to be up to fourth though. As Justin Allgaier must have also gone off track. Yes, he did. He damaged his car. So Allgaier going to start from sixth. As Marcus Armstrong will pull into the pits. He doesn't have any more. Do any of these two have anything more? Checkered flag is out. But I haven't seen anyone go for 3 laps, so it's going to be quite difficult. Neither of them can make it back. Dorian Pin the only one that could go for pole, but I just don't think there's enough left. So it seems like 3-second new record pole for Shane Van Gisbergen to extend. As that will be it for qualifying, and it is going to be another pole to add to the record for Shane Van Gisbergen. So your provisional starting grid, row 1 going to be Shane Van Gisbergen looking to rebound after Motegi. He's going to have Marcus Armstrong to his outside, who hasn't qualified worse than third this season. Row 2 going to be teammates Louis Foster and Dorian Pin, both looking to extend how well they've been doing in this championship. Row 3 going to be Guy Gagne starting up near the front again, and then Justin Allgaier, no time, but will be starting from 6th. Row 4 going to be Banshee's teammates Benjamin Peterson and Alessio Deletta, as row 5 will be David Malukas and Francesco Draconi. Row 6 will be Mahavir Raghunathan in his best qualifying effort this season, and I think best qualifying effort in quite a long time, with Ryan Preece to his outside. And then back in row 7, we're going to have Connor Zilic with a disappointing qualifying effort, and Lindsey Brewer to his outside. Row 8 going to be teammates Lawless Allen and Ethan Martz. They've been together pretty much for a lot of this season. And then row 9, disappointing qualifying effort for Robbie Lohr. He's going to be lined up alongside Devlin DeFrancesco. Back to row 10, we have Nico Hulkenberg and Brennan Hubbard. As then down in row 11, we have Dawa Tenzin and Miles Rowe. Then you go back to row 12, and we have Chet Jordan. Very disappointing qualifying effort. That's really going to hurt his qualifying average and a lot of work to do. He's going to have Tinkle McStinkle to his outside. Then we go down to row 13 with Glubler Lore. He's going to be alongside Nolan Siegel with a very disappointing qualifying effort. And rounding out the field in row 17 will be the 77 of Stingray Robb. So that is it for qualifying here at the Bend. The race is just going to be later today. And it's going to be interesting with where the field lines up. And I hope to see you guys then.